Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zande, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Before we start the next Soul Love conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, Activating the Flower of Love, a sacred guide for manifesting your deepest desires and highest calling. This sacred book, filled with powerful tools and activations, will guide you to open your heart to the beauty and wisdom within you, empowering you to create the life you deeply desire from the foundation of love. You can find Activating the Flower of Love in all the major online and offline bookstores in ebook or paperback, or you can check it out through my website, kimness.nl, where you can also discover the different ways of working with me and the latest updates on new starting programs. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Welcome everyone to the first Soul Love podcast of 2023, and I'm super excited to share with you the magic and the wisdom of my beautiful soul brother, Paul Marwood. Thank you for sharing this sacred space.
Thank you for inviting me to this beautiful sacred space that you've created, Kim.
Yes, it's so amazing. I met Paul, I think almost 1.5 years ago, and I received a beautiful reading of you, an Akashic Records reading, and a beautiful universal sphere. And I love how you are sharing your magic with the world, and how you are also embodying like this new wisdom, this new knowledge of being and of sharing. So as we start this 2023, where we already went through, all of us through beautiful times, but also deep inner times with the retrograde and with the beautiful, powerful full moon. It's always beautiful to hear what are tips and advice and how can we stay centered in these times where so much is moving around us. And yeah, we already had a little short previous talk, but maybe you can share a little bit about what you found on your path, beautiful things to center yourself in moments like these, because the next few months, they are powerful as well. There are a lot of astrological things shifting that can create a lot of growth, but also a lot of stir up of things. So maybe you can share some of your wisdom with us and everyone listening.
Thanks, Kim. I'd love to. I think honestly, sharing a little bit about my journey, I used to be an engineer, very left brain, and an accident event took place that really shifted me into the spiritual realms. And I'm so grateful for having both of those experiences in life. You know, we are here to have, in our human form, experiences, and the experiences help us grow. So coming back to the answering your question about sharing a few things, how do we move out of this masculine model into the more balanced and the divine feminine comes forward? I'm sure each and every one of you are noticing that life is almost becoming more fluid. You know, there's more, one could almost say, unknowns happening. For most of us, the changes are happening more quickly, or we're feeling new inklings or wonderings within ourselves that there must be more out there. So depending on where you are at, it's sort of in your spiritual journey. Honestly, follow your heart. The universe is conspiring to help you at every moment of every day. And some of us have this philosophy of life's happening to me, you know. Don't. If you see yourself in that space, catch yourself and say, life is happening for me. Everything, every day, the universe is conspiring to help you. And, you know, the interesting piece is that everything about life, as humans, when we go to our mind space, we complicate it. We make life complicated. Life's actually very simple. The universe is actually very simple. The closer you get to higher consciousness, things become more and more simple, even though we might perceive it differently. It's all just a choice. You know, I can choose to be happy. I can choose to be sad. I can choose to be frustrated. And even when we're in a frustrating situation, you can just stop for a few minutes, take a deep breath. I choose to be peaceful. I choose to be relaxed. And okay, those are just words. It's easy to say that. It's a little harder to do it. But, you know, as we make that choice and we move towards that which we are desiring, we start to change our vibration, and everything in the universe is a vibration. So as we shift our vibration, the law, one of the universal laws in this construct is that you attract in exactly what we are resonating with. It's a like vibration. So if we're having a tough time, as we choose to be in trust, as we choose to be in happiness, as we choose to be in joy, so the universe goes, okay, I'm going to give you more things to be trusting. I can give you more trust in your life. I can give you more love. I can give you more joy, because the universe just reads us and says, okay, this is your vibration, so I'm going to give you more of that, you know, so you can be in that space of the divine that you are, that is here to have experiences and grow. And so we get to choose our experiences, even though sometimes we might think we didn't choose something. But usually when that happens, usually there's some beautiful growth to happen. That's what we were talking earlier about, some of those challenges.
It is, yeah. There's so much beauty in what you shared, because we are all being invited to go back into this fluid state where we are able to dance with whatever comes on our path. But it's because it's not about being stagnant, and that's the old way of being, and also our mind wanting to have security and wanting to know what is happening. But we are all pioneering a new earth, so that means stretching ourselves out of our comfort zone to create something new. But I also love what you're sharing, because I also notice it in my own life. We are truly guided, and even sometimes within the challenges, we are guided because we are growing and expanding. We are creating something new, and it means sometimes also hitting certain walls that have kept us in the same cycles over and over again. And now it's time. I also notice sometimes within me that you finally feel like sometimes we just need those times where we are going against the same cycles, and then at one point it's enough and you feel within yourself, now I'm done. But those are such a powerful moment, because then the shift can happen, and suddenly you see why you have been bumping against this cycle, and a huge epiphany comes and an awakening. But it's again having a choice. I love that, because also in that moment you can choose again to repeat that cycle, or you can choose, no, I'm choosing gratitude, I'm choosing love, I'm choosing to do something to raise my vibration, break the cycle, and then new things open up. I always love, you once shared in one of your beautiful offerings, like asking the universe, I wonder how the universe is going to surprise me today. And that has been stuck with me for all the time, because but it's just a simple opening question. If you are in the middle of whatever challenge you are, just asking an open question to the universe opens your field. And that has been kept with me so many times, and it really helps. But it's such a simple tool, but most of the time the most simple things are profound. Yeah, it's just
keep it simple.
Yes, it is. Yeah, but again, our mind, like it's almost like maybe that's also, I think, now our school structure. Like, okay, we become more. We receive more when we do higher education, and when we do, so it's almost like our mind thinks, okay, the most powerful things, they need to be very complicated. I need to think of but the universe indeed is very simple. It's going back to basic. Yes, it's again, our heart is simple. I suddenly see a connection there. I don't know how that's for you, but it's really,
you're so spot on, you know. And it's also too, you know, we have things happen in life, especially those challenging moments. It's so easy to be in our mind and be in fear. The mind is so brilliant at fear because it's here to protect us. Our mind is designed to protect our physical form. And so the mind is so good at fear, false evidence appearing real. And it makes all these makeups and makes all these constructs or ideas and assumptions that, you know, get back in the heart, get in alignment with the data. You know, what's really happening? Do I need to be here right now in this moment? Don't worry about the past or what's happened in the past. Don't worry about the future. Just be in this space right now. Okay, that's good to have some awareness of your future, like especially if you're doing some planning something, you know, and you need to make a plan and move forward in that plan. So yes, that's an additional part. But for the most part, you know, it's so easy to be in that place of fear. And then when the challenge happens, most of us are like, oh man, I didn't want this. I didn't plan this. Why do I have to do this? But instead, you know, what can I learn from this? You know, my soul has put me in this place to learn something. And it's always for the right. You know, this is sort of where the Akashic records come in. You look for the light in the situations. You know, if we're doing something in the past, you can't change the past. The past has happened, but what you can do is reframe the vibration or the awareness of what happened, the experience, etc. So instead of looking at it as a trauma and this happened and oh, that was bad and you can say, well, what did I learn out of that? How did I gain strength? How did I gain wisdom? How did I gain forgiveness? Because maybe it was a traumatic event and you had to forgive yourself or forgive the other person. That is the light. That's the gold, is what your soul did to manifest that challenge. And you know, Kim, when we get to those challenging moments,
Yeah.
that's where we grow. You know, when you and I are kind of cruising along, life's sweet, but
Yes.
there's not a lot of growth happening for the most part. So the
No.
universe goes, okay, you've had your little holiday. You know, this.
Yes.
I look at life of. I always perceive that pretty much all of life like a river. You know, we start as this little droplet of water from the skies in our purity, this pure essence, pure spirit comes down. The little drop lands on the earth, and there we are as this beautiful bunch of cells in the uterus, and then we grow and so the water grows and combines, and you've got a little stream, and so you're navigating very slowly through life as a young child, young adolescent, and then you move to you start to learn stuff. You become more empowered at who you are, what you're capable of, and you start to become, one would say, like a river. And as you're flowing as this river, you're going to have moments where there's that stagnant, that pool where the water just stills. Maybe you go around in circles for a while, and that's okay too. You know, but then there's other moments where you come across the rapids, and you know, for the most part, this is the thing that I look at. As humans, we see a challenge and we go, "Oh no, you know, how do I get this? I need all the answers. I'm stuck."
Yeah.
The water doesn't feel stuck. The water just sees a big rock and it just flows around it.
Yeah.
So, you know, for us, as we master ourselves and realize how beautiful we are, how we are great beings of light, having a human experience, nothing can kill our soul. Nothing can, you know, it's just an experience in this reality that we're experiencing right now. So like you and I put clothes on, our soul puts a body on to have an experience or experiences. So, you know, and then I love the analogy of the water because it just flows around the rock and moves on. And then for me, it's like, what can I learn in this experience? So it changes the whole dynamic of it, because instead of being in a space of fear, I don't have the answers. What do I do? You know, I go into my Akashic records, or I'm doing, you know, spheres for guidance and tapping into my inner knowingness and allowing that guidance to come through to, why am I reacting this way? Why do I feel this way? Why does this person push my buttons? Why, when this person says this, why do I do that? And asking those open-ended questions and then being, you know, I wonder what the universe is going to give to me today that's going to be incredible.
Yes.
Again, open-ended questions. That's what opens up our field and allows us to be in that place of learning, you know, because the universe is, you say, well, what can I learn from this? And as you ask that, then the information comes forward to you. The universe goes, okay, here you go. You know, here's some learning. Here's a book. Here's an article. Here's a teacher, whoever it may be, to bring that information into your awareness. So you go, okay, that's why I feel this way. And then you flow around and you learn and you grow, and you're the bigger person today than you were yesterday, because you can handle that and more than you couldn't do yesterday.
Yes, but it's shifting from, again, it's a choice. It's shifting from almost like survival or being in victim mode to choosing to see, what can I do in this situation? How can I open my field? What do I need? What can I learn? What can I grow? What can I forgive? So it feels empowering. And but there is so much more within this, because it's it's a whole new way of being, where you are fluidly in your heart, just like the water. The water doesn't have to, it's almost like our mind. Like if we set a goal, it likes like, okay, these 10 steps I need to take. But your heart just set the goal and allows the universe to bring it to you in the most aligned way. And sometimes also what you are wishing for, the essence is different than what you thought, because through you growing, also your desire, that's what I noticed, that sometimes I set a certain wish list or a goal, and then I manifest something even more magical or in essence more fulfilling than that goal, but it's allowing it to just unfold in its own time. And I think but again, it's letting go of our mind. Our beautiful mind can support us, but it's letting our heart lead. It's almost, when you were talking, I saw like this pyramid where our heart is just centered in our being and just fluidly flowing, and our mind is going in the direction of good, bad, good, bad. It's like it wants to pinpoint a certain thing instead of just being with both and dancing with it. So if you go down into your body, then you're able to, I saw this beautiful image, but I think it's our mind wants to put labels on it, and our heart just knows it is whatever is happening. Our heart knows and is guiding us forward to just flow on this beautiful river instead of, and when it bumps against something, it just finds its most aligned way instead of,
And, you know, I think to add exactly what you said, Kim, the mind also likes to put stuff in a box. So it analyzes and says, this is what it looks like. This is what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And when you're in your heart, you're in a place of love, infinite possibilities. And this is what I love about solution energy. I work a lot with the spheres and the solution energy, and I'm creating these new things called solution meditations. And so it's helping us in our hearts tap into a more unlimited aspect, the unified field, the field of infinite possibilities, solution energy. So we don't put it in a box. You know, this is the experience I want to aim for, but how do I get there? The mind goes, oh, I've got to know all the steps. No, you don't. Just trust and keep moving as information comes to you, or resources or money or whatever it is comes to you. Keep moving forward, looking for that next opportunity to move forward in that direction that you want to do. Because unfortunately, we've got to do stuff because we're still in this form.
To come into action, but also the awareness, if like you're in a very challenging moment, it's not because you did something wrong. Most of the time it is because you want to create something new, and you just need to go through the wall that has prevented you before from creating the new. Because that's also an old paradigm shift, like, oh, I'm doing so my best and I'm constantly raising my vibration, and why am I still, or why am I again in this situation? But it's just a deepening layer of letting go, of releasing, of forgiving yourself, of loving yourself, so that you can move beyond. But I think that's a powerful shift we all need to make as well. It's not as you raise your vibration that it will always be bliss and always will, because you are creating something new. So it means stretching yourself. It means going through what has blocked you before, but staying in the openness. So, and I think that's the mastering piece, because sometimes when we are in the middle of a challenge, it can be overwhelming and we can't see the light. Even for myself, sometimes the challenge can be so deep that you sometimes forget the light. But then it's again coming back to your essence, coming back to your heart, recentering, and then moving forward. But I think also because all of us, we hold powerful tools and powerful wisdom within us. And the more we center within ourselves, and I know you're also helping people with that, and it's also my part of my teachings, it's like the more you center within that, the more you feel empowered to handle whatever comes on your path, because life will not always be easy. Even if you are this enlightened being, it's not all, it's just part of the human experience, and it's okay. It's finding it okay to be in the river, not knowing, flowing with everything. And
what's coming up next?
But we don't have to know, because we have all the equipment to deal with whatever comes on our path, and but I think also soul family is also important in that, because we need each other to also inspire, especially in the moments where everyone forgets for a while, and then it's good to have people around you that mirror you, like, this is your light, this is what you are capable of. And so it's also, I think that's also the new earth, connecting from a heartfelt centered space. And
You know, it's interesting, excuse me, when you look at, there's been a lot of channeling in my life in the last sort of 10, 12 years. And when you look at the channeled sources, whoever they are, Cryon, Abraham, they're not an I, they're a we. They work as a collective, excuse me. And so that's, as humans, the masculine model has created a bias on being in our mind and our ego and our separateness.
Yeah.
But the rest of the universe doesn't work that way. The universe works in a connected way. And I think that's also, what you said was absolutely perfect. It's for us to start to realize that we are here to help each other. The power is in co-creation.
It is.
I have skills, you have skills. But if we work together and combine what I can help and what you can help with, then we're twice as good. It's almost it's sort of like 1 + 1 actually equals 11, not 2.
Oh yeah, I love that. And not even 3, because that's the old model. 1 + 1 is 3. But I love that it's 11. Yes.
And 11's a beautiful number. And it's a double 1 1, which is even more powerful. So
yes.
But that's honestly where, I think as humanity we need to make this shift. That's why we have so many challenges in the world, why there's so much upset, why there's wars and all the rest of it, because we're still in that place of learning that you know, if I am connected to you, I'll never do anything to hurt you. I only want to love and support you, because if I hurt you, I hurt me, because we are all connected. So we're all part of humanity. So,
It is.
you know, it's kind of learning to break down those barriers. And, you know, the women are way ahead. You know, this is this beautiful thing about the shift to the divine feminine, because it's necessary. The divine feminine is so much more powerful than the divine masculine. And, you know, I was watching a series recently, The Millionaire Within Her, which is all about women and successful business, women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
All the women wanted to do was be able to be in support of each other and create. And it wasn't a competition piece. It was about a support piece, you know.
Yes.
Of course, there would have been, I'm a man, so I can speak bad about men, so to speak, but, you know, all men, it's about competition. I've got to get my deal and that's fine, but that was the old way.
That's the old way. Yeah, because a lot of men, I also see my husband is beautifully awakening the divine feminine within, and you embody that beautifully, because it's all within us. And we also need, as women, but just in general, we also need the divine masculine. Otherwise, nothing will happen. We only would stay in receiving, but it also needs to be. So it's balancing both them. But there needs to be more harmony in that. But I love what you're sharing, because also with my book, The Flower of Love Council, it is a council. It is a field. It is an energy. It's a consciousness. It's not one energy. But I think you also pinpointed, because that's for me has been a powerful thing as well, that also with channeling, sometimes we put the authority outside of ourselves. And that is what I find very important, that there are so many teachings and so many higher beings that are coming through different people, through different sources. But it's not per se that one teaching is the answer. It is your body, your heart, that receives codes out of every little, it's almost like collecting puzzle pieces everywhere. And sometimes it's just the words you want, and sometimes it's whole sentence, and sometimes it's whole teaching. But it's not putting authority out of yourself. I think that's also important, that we as humans are powerful beings. It's coming back to the amazingness of being in physical life. And I think that's a shift we need to make, because sometimes also within the spiritual community, we're so hoping to raise our vibration higher and higher, and lose that we came here to do it here. We came here to embody our light, to bring it in. And that means feeling, that means going through all these layers so that we can really anchor it, ground it. And but it's collecting keys. And that's also, I always share with everyone, like also in my channelings, listen to your body, because some parts will be truth for you and others not. And that is fine. But it's in everything, not even in channeling, of course, also what is happening around the world. With when you watch media, when you watch, some things will resonate with you and that's your truth, and other things not. And it's especially in this time where more and more messages come out. Like there are so many different messages all around you. It's not like 100 years ago, there would only be one source of information, and that was information. Yes, but now there are a million sources of information. How do you know it's true? I don't know how you, but
whole spectrum.
Yeah. but it's feeling in your body, in your heart, what is your truth, because it's coming back again to that authenticity, coming back to that empowered state from within, instead of looking for the answers per se outside of yourself or in higher knowledge, because you can get beautiful downloads from that, but it's again also the physical experience. And so for me, it's, I don't know how that has been for you, but it's also really about the embodied journey, about living here, not only there, and not only
Well, I think you've brought forward a really wonderful point, because, you know, in this modern time, we can find the opposing answer to anything and everything. So it's all right there in front of us. And some people might say that's confusing, and okay, it is to a degree, but the way I see it, it's the universe helping us start to trust, as you've just said, within ourselves. We can find this information, we can find that information. Does this feel right? You know, and what feels right to me could be completely the opposite of what feels right to you. And that's perfectly fine, because then we get to learn about and love the similarity and the connectedness rather than the differences. So that's the important piece. You know, in the past, we focused it on the differences, which has created upset and wars and all that sort of stuff. But instead, let's find what are the similarities, and you know, how can we work together, you know, but also honor the differences, because it's in the differences. It's like if you were to make a meal, if you're in a Michelin star restaurant and you're going to have an exquisite meal, do you think they're just going to put rice and then give you only rice? It's going to be a pretty boring meal, you know, but there's all these beautiful flavors and different ingredients. And when you combine it, you have this beautiful chemistry. and it creates something absolutely exquisite. Well, it's no different for humans as we combine and we allow the vibrations, or the flavors in that case, but for us, the vibrations, the intelligence, the consciousness, the gifts to come together, we can create this exquisite piece, you know, or that is exquisite creation. So that's, you know, I look at how this, everything in the universe around us, it's holographic. You can see examples of sort of physical things right there in front of us. And that applies to other things, and applies to other things, applies to other things. So, you know, this analogy of the food that I just gave you can apply to us. As we combine our gifts, we can make an exquisite creation, just like you combine ingredients makes an exquisite, you know, meal.
Yeah, and I think that's the key for the future. Because you hold certain keys, I hold certain, we all hold unique keys. And if we really become who we came here to be, we can co-create in that space. I love that. But it's even if you look at from the mind space, like the masterminds are all about different disciplines bringing together to create an empowering whole. But this is on the next level. We are now being invited to the divine feminine way of a mastermind and co-create in different ways. But it's also, I think also those structures are evolving. It's not holding on. I think the biggest message is just being in the flow river, not holding on to things and allowing everything to evolve so that it can become better. But then our safety mechanisms go on because it is different than we thought. And it is just such an interesting journey. And then again, it comes to being centered within yourself. So but what is the platform you're creating? Because you shared a little bit about meditations, or what is the...
Well, it's interesting because the things that I'm learning, so I rely a lot on the Akashic Records to help gain inner guidance. You know, why do I act this way? Why do I react this way? Why do I feel this way? What happens when people push my buttons, or what can I learn about the situation? And that's wonderful because that helps empower me. But something I've been learning very recently is, and there's a words that have stuck in my mind the moment I saw it and heard it. I watched a movie recently. It was a documentary called The One Field. It has Cryon and Dr. Todd and Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza and various other people, Nassim Haramein, all doing experiments, Lynn McTaggart, you know, on the field. So they're kind of proving scientifically the field exists. People in different places on the planet can affect each other through intention and all the rest of it with a field. And Cryon said, when humans consciously, I apologize, Cryon is one would say a famous channel on the planet. So much like Abraham Hicks. So Lee Carroll, who's one of many, but he's probably the primary channeler of Cryon, he was saying, when humans consciously connect to the unified field, they're going to change physics. And as soon as he said that, I thought, my goodness, I'm already, you know, with this modality that was, you know, the universal sphere, as we connect to the unified field, we are choosing an openness and more limited playground. I'm changing my physics, I'm changing my reality, I'm changing how I think. And you know, I'm excited now because I want to simplify stuff. I want to get everyone can access this, and I want to help everyone access this because this is something that's so powerful, and you've experienced this yourself. And you can bring
I think a lot of energy came through because you froze at the moment you were explaining. So it's always interesting when powerful stuff comes through, technology interacts. So maybe you can try one more time to explain what the unified field does to change the physical reality, or because that part froze. So let's try another one.
Thanks, Kim. You know, what Cryon said, when humans consciously connect to the unified field, they change physics. And that's what's happening here. These solution meditations, which I'm developing, are tapping into this modality that I'm a co-founder of, to easily allow everyone to tap into and move your consciousness to be more connected to the unified field. And you don't have to analyze it. You don't have to think about it, because that doesn't work. You need to be just simply allowing the vibration of what's being created in these solution meditations to move you into who you really are. If you subscribe to the idea your consciousness exists at multiple levels, the higher aspects of you are already connected to the universe. You know, and keeping it simple, we just need to allow. And as we expand our awareness by simply just being guided in a simple meditation, we can start to tap into this unlimited aspect of who we are. And then we can bring in solutions into our lives for anything. You can be a plumber trying to fix some plumbing. You can be an architect trying to design something. You can be someone who's in a challenging relationship. You can be someone who's just, needing something to happen to solve a business problem or whatever it may be. You can tap into this.
Yeah.
And as soon as you open yourself up to this field that connects everything, you can bring in solutions you haven't even thought of. And sometimes they're what you thought of, but that's okay too.
It is.
But you can tap into, and an example of this is, clients that have been trying to sell their house for 3 years with no success. We're tapping into the vibration of these universal spheres to bring in this solutions. Within weeks, their house is sold, but not only is it sold, there's a bidding war and they sell it for more than they had it on the market for.
Yes.
And you say, well, what changed? It's because you're opening yourself up in your consciousness to a greater aspect of reality. And when we ascend, which we're in this process of doing, this ascension process, it's about learning more. It's about expanding to more. So this is a beautiful tool to help you easily embody that.
Yes, I love that.
Not something you've got to spend 10 years to learn or master. You just listen to some meditations and away you go.
Yeah. Because I think that's also, it needs to be more practical. It needs to be more like, we don't have time to listen to a meditation of 2 hours anymore. We also need to, but that's just the way we are living at this moment. And that is fine because we are expelling. But that's also what I love. The more people connect to a field or a consciousness, also the more it gets embodied. I did a 21-day love challenge, connecting as many people as I could to the field of love consciousness. And it's amazing what then happens because it brings in this field, and by that it gets embodied, but just magic starts to happen. But it's, again, with this, also with your meditations and connecting to this higher consciousness, this solution energy, the more people that call, that ask for, like, it's almost like we can choose as souls around the earth as a collective which direction or which signal we are dialing in. Are we dialing into fear or are we dialing into solution? And the more people that dial into solution, the more solutions we get. It's like, but it's such a simple awareness. It sounds too simple to be true, but I noticed the magic that happens in this 21 days when we collectively do that, and how that shifts for everyone. And and we are all on this mission. We are all on this mission of just making people also aware of the possibilities, because we are such empowering souls, and we as one being of light can do so many things. And it's stepping that, I think it's reclaiming our inner empowerment. And I love that you're doing that and that you're making it, because that's also making it accessible. It's not about sitting in meditation for 3 hours and connecting to a higher intelligence and then having all these doubts. Not per se. Yes, amazing if that happens. But it's also a little bit ego again, that wants things to be even more magicaler. No, it is simple. It is profound. And it is about, I also always share it when I meet people on the street, what are you doing and what is spirituality? In the end, it's about being happy. It's about being happy who you are. And by that, you are a positive contribution to the collective, because you're not putting fear into the field. You're putting happiness into the field, and ease and joy. And that is it. And through that, things open up and you're open to solutions. And so I love that. It's beautiful how we all share.
I think you and I, this is sort of part of our role. And I'm saying this about everyone, honestly, but we are the human collective.
It is.
And so as each of us, say you and I, choose to open up, choose to be connected to more, choose to play in a more unlimited playground, choose to expand our awareness, choose to be in our heart more than in our mind, we start, because we're transmitting the whole time, we're all connected in the human collective. So as each of us choose that and work on ourselves, we're making that known in the collective, which then influences everyone else. The old model, people were saying, well, you have to stand in front of people and teach them, and that's still true, but also there's another aspect where if you work on yourself and you are opening up to a more unlimited aspect of you, more empowered aspect of you, and you're doing, because the doing part's very important as well, but you're also making known in your reality this whole new, more ascended form of yourself, the more empowered form of yourself, And as you do that, that goes out into the collective. And that's unfortunately the piece that most of us don't really fully perceive at this point in time. But we'll see, as more of us do this, we'll see the evidence starting to filter back to us.
Yeah.
Because we are all connected. You and I make the change, and then other people, it's easy for those other people to step into exactly what you and I have done.
It is. But also now everyone tuning in to this podcast, to our conversation. So for the last 33 minutes, you have been tuning into possibilities, into solutions. And so not by doing something, by just being and listening and being part of our conversation in energy, you are contributing solution energy to your life, and that is as simple as it is. And that is how it works. So these last minutes, you have been radiating out possibilities, solutions, inviting new energies in, and that's thank you. I think it's for everyone. It needs to be more it may be more simple, because it is that simple. It is being in this flow, choosing to indeed tap into these vibrations, because these are transmissions. Yes, our mind likes the words, but in the end, both of us are transmitting an energy that you can feel and that you can tap into, because it's much larger than the physical conversation. So if there was one last thing you would share with the listeners or the people watching, what would it be to support them or guide them or empower them?
I think, honestly, the simple piece of it is, when you see yourself in a place of fear or being in the mind, go back to being in your heart. You know, the heart is not passive. The heart can be very active. The heart can be very proactive. It's through that place and our connectedness to our heart that we can achieve and receive guidance. It's very empowering, very unlimited, very expanded. And the mind it's an advisor, but let your heart be the main guide in your life. And then when you receive that guidance, ask, receive, do. So you're asking for guidance, receive it from that place of your heart, your higher aspects, and then follow through, do that. And then you'll be amazed at what happens in your life.
Yeah. But you're sharing an important piece where we can create a whole new podcast about do it. Because that's also the next step. If we receive it, we also need to act upon it. And yes, so thank you but that is huge. Yes, it's being within our heart. And because it's also coming back to the place where we understand on a deeper level how powerful our heart is, where we before thought our mind is powerful, but let it be guided from our heart. And so thank you.
Inner knowingness.
It is, yes. Thank you so much. If you want to find out more about all the magic Paul shares with the world, I share his details below. And for now, I just wish you a magical day, evening, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you in the next Soul Love podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Paul, for being here.
Much love and blessings to each of you.
Yes, thank you. Bye. Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.